MOS Low Yen Ling.
Madam Chair, in the last 2 years, MCCY, the National Arts Council, NAC, and the National Heritage Board, NHB, have rolled out wide-ranging measures to safeguard livelihoods, build capabilities, and position our arts and culture sector for a strong recovery in the new normal. Kudos to our arts and culture organizations and practitioners. They have responded boldly and creatively to the challenges brought on by the pandemic. Through their craft and artistic contributions, they have provided soothing balm and comfort to us all in a difficult time like this. We are grateful for their resilience and perseverance. Looking ahead for the year 2022, we will continue to work closely with our arts and culture community to chart our path towards recovery. We will enlarge our longer-term plans with the aims to foster in Singapore a resilient, sustainable, and future-ready arts and culture ecosystem that, number one, enriches and inspires lives. Number two, unites us as a nation and pride in our shared heritage. And number three, enhances Singapore's shine as a global city. Today, we look forward to our arts and culture sector recovering even stronger than before from the pandemic. Our practitioners have reached new audiences, created new experiences, and enhanced existing capabilities while developing new ones in areas like digital showcases. This is the result of our collective resolve over the last 2 years as the art and culture community collaborate and support one another. Mr. Situ Ipin, Ms. Tin Pei Lin, and Mr. Darryl David will be pleased to know that we will do even more to sustain the momentum and enable the sector to build on these gains. As shared earlier by Minister Edwin Tong, we will be injecting an additional $12 million to sustain good practices and learning points from COVID-19 after the end of the Arts and Culture Resilience Package, ACRP. Let me elaborate. As we continue to adapt and move towards a new normal, we will extend the venue hire subsidy for another 3 months from 1st April 2022 to 30th June 2022 at a step-down rate of 30%. This will continue to defray venue hire costs for our practitioners as we progressively resume activities and welcome back larger audiences. Introduced last year as part of the ACRP, the OTG, which is the Organisation Transformation Grant, has attracted keen interest from arts and cultural organizations and practitioners. To sustain support for transformation, NHB will incorporate the OTG into its existing grants, such as the Heritage Research Grant, as well as the Minor and Major Project Grant. Heritage businesses and organizations will be able to benefit from an increased grant amount of up to $40,000 from $30,000 previously to cater to larger scale and longer-term projects. The grants will also be open to business associations to encourage transformation efforts in our historic districts. Similarly, NAC will launch a new Sector Transformation Fund, STF, to promote and sustain the transformation efforts of our arts and culture community. Projects previously supported under the ACRP Organisation Transformation Grant OTG that have longer-term potential for further development can tap on the STF to push ahead and transform. Let me now share how we will boost the sustainability of the arts and culture sector for diverse communities to enjoy, a point passionately highlighted by Ms. Janet Ang. We will empower the sector to leverage on digital technologies to pursue new artistic, cultural, and business opportunities. Through digitalization, the sector can enhance their existing revenue streams as well as improve productivity and organizational effectiveness. We recently launched the Arts and Culture Digital Roadmap on 28th of February to equip and enhance the digital journey of our arts and culture organizations and practitioners. They can use the digital roadmap, which has a self-assessment checklist to gauge their level of digital readiness and learn about the range of digital solutions and funding schemes available to businesses, charities, and individuals that can support such efforts. As Mr. Mark Che pointed out, we can showcase our unique culture to local as well as overseas audiences by using more digital content. For instance, Ting Yi Music Company brought their triennial international composition festival called Composium online last year, which led to its musicians and compositions of local composers such as Cultural Medallion recipients Eric Watson and Law Yen Ling reaching international audiences. In the coming months, MCCY, NAC, and NHB will be engaging our arts and culture organizations and practitioners through roadshows and workshops to promote the awareness of the digital roadmap. We will also provide tailored support to those who require assistance to digitalize. Details of these efforts will be made available on the websites of all three organizations once ready. Madam, through the Self-Employed Persons Grant, SEPG introduced under the ACRP, SEPs have engaged in new collaborations. For instance, an independent producer, Ms. Nuha Farzah Masnan, created a structured program for 8 young theatre directors to learn from 17 artists and other creators how to direct works in Malay and Tamil. We will continue to deepen our support for self-employed persons SEPs by incorporating the SEPG into the NAC's existing presentation and participation and capability development grants. Ms. Tin Pei Ling will be glad to know that through this move, priority will be given to grant applications initiated by or targeted at SEPs. In addition, we are committed to creating conditions in the arts and culture sector for livelihoods to thrive with targeted support for SEPs. First, we will increase opportunities for capacity development for SEPs. To this end, NAC will raise greater awareness of the skills and competency that our SEPs need to help them make informed choices for their career progression. NAC will also work with partners to mount training courses in new and emerging areas such as e-pedagogy and digital arts education program development for arts instructors. Second, NAC will work with industry partners to ensure better protection and working conditions for our SEPs. The NAC will promote the adoption of best practices amongst organizations which engage SEPs, from the signing of formal contracts to improving contractual obligations between the parties and recognizing our SEPs for their skills and contributions. For example, our national cultural institutions have adopted the tripartite standards on contracting with self-employed persons since 2018. Third, the NAC will pilot new ways for our SEPs to create value in the arts sector and beyond. NAC have observed some enterprising SEPs, especially in the last 2 years, developing artists, business partnership, and testing new ways to work with enterprises working on sustainability solutions. NAC will support SEPs to push boundaries and contribute to the broader creative economy, as well as to collaborate with each other and new partners, such as local businesses from other sectors in new and innovative ways. So we encourage our SEPs to make full use of the available grants to sustain their practices, collaborate on new initiatives, and develop new capabilities. We look forward to our SEPs' continued contribution to Singapore's arts and culture. Madam, besides developing our people, MCCY is also working closely with the sector to strengthen our cultural infrastructure for artists and creatives to incubate, to experiment, and to collaborate. One of the newest additions to this growing pool is the Singapore Art Museum, SAM, at Tanjong Pagar Distripark, TPD. I visited SAM at TPD just 2 months ago with Minister Edwin Tong in January, for the 10th edition of the Singapore Art Week 2022 saw. And we saw for ourselves how a former industrial warehouse was turned into a fascinating location for experimental exhibitions and programs. The TPD welcomed more than 17,000 visitors during SAW 2022, and its unique large space allowed the public to be immersed in various arts and cultural experiences in a very engaging manner. Another exciting development is also taking place at Kampong Java. NAC is partnering SLA, Singapore Land Authority, to refurbish and pilot arts and cultural sandbox spaces at 52 to 56 Kampong Java. These venues that I've mentioned will offer our artists of various disciplines an affordable space to focus on their experimental and creative process. NAC will seek views from the arts community on the use of these spaces in the first half of this year. Madam, many of these cultural spaces are located at sites with a long history. Our built heritage connects us to the nation's past, like what Mr. Sito Ipin mentioned, and forms a part of our cultural identity. Mr. Sito Ipin will be glad to know that MCCY is continuing to safeguard and celebrate Singapore's shared heritage. One important aspect of this work involves the HIA framework, Heritage Impact Assessment Framework, which the Minister for National Development, Minister Desmond Lee, has shared earlier at the MND COS. MCCY and NHB will continue to support MND and URA in implementing the HIA framework. The framework further strengthens how public agencies must thoroughly evaluate the heritage significance of a site as an important consideration in the early stage of planning for development projects. Our rich heritage is also a source of national pride. All Singaporeans celebrated when our hawker culture was inscribed on the UNESCO representative list of intangible cultural heritage in December 2020. Last year at COS, I shared that we would embark on consultations to identify possible elements for Singapore's second UNESCO Intangible Cultural Heritage nomination. Between June 2021 and January 2022, NHB held focus group discussions with approximately 170 participants, comprising intangible cultural heritage practitioners, heritage business owners, academics, and youth to hear their views, their thoughts, and suggestions. Through these conversations, we heard a clear preference for our second nomination to be multicultural in nature and relatable to Singaporeans. A total of 10 possible elements have been suggested through these consultations. For example, our Chingay parade, the making and sharing of kueh, Peranakan beadwork and embroidery, orchid cultivation, and yusheng, just to name a few. NHB will broaden its consultations over the course of the coming months to engage more stakeholders as well as the general public before a final decision is made on the element to be nominated. Madam Chair, our museum showcased our valuable heritage, and I'm glad to update that come this December, families and young children can look forward to a dynamic and engaging experience at the new Children's Museum Singapore, CMSG, in what used to be Singapore Philatelic Museum. Ms. Janet Ang spoke passionately about the importance of arts and culture for the young, and we agree with her. The CMSG will feature a range of topics including Singapore's history and biodiversity, and help foster a strong awareness of our shared values and national identity in our young children. In another development, following extensive consultations with the community, the Peranakan Museum will reopen in year 2023 with an expanded curatorial focus on the rich cross-cultural traditions and distinctive arts of the Peranakan communities in Southeast Asia. Besides looking forward to the CMSG and Peranakan Museum, Singaporeans can all play a part in shaping an important reflection of our heritage, the Founders Memorial. Next month, NHB will launch the Founders Memorial Share Your Story, Shape Our Memorial Travelling Exhibition. Besides an update on the memorial's architectural design, the travelling exhibition will provide the public a chance to share artifacts and stories related to key national policies or milestones, or their encounters with our founding leaders. For example, Mr. Timothy D'Souza is keen to share his personal mementos as one of Singapore's first fighter pilots. We look forward to rich and interesting contributions from all Singaporeans. Madam, looking ahead, MCCY will build upon the foundation and progress made by our SG Arts Plan in year 2018. Mr. Sito Ipin would be glad to know that today, our arts sector includes diverse talents who collaborate and create new arts experiences for audiences in Singapore and beyond, including the underreached groups mentioned by Ms. Janet Ang and Mr. Mark Che. Through signature arts festival platforms such as SAW, which I mentioned earlier, Singapore International Festival of Arts, and the Singapore Writers' Festival, we have brought together diverse players in the local arts ecosystem, grown a strong audience base, and profiled Singapore's art globally. Community partnerships have been forged across 20 arts and cultural nodes, bringing people of different backgrounds together through the arts. Arts education have also been enhanced with experiential, cohort-based learning programs to museum and concert halls, as well as digital content. Arts offerings are more inclusive than before, with support for quality arts experiences for our preschoolers as well as students with special needs. Since July 2021, NAC has held conversations with around 400 stakeholders in one-to-one interviews and also focus group discussions on the future of the arts for Singapore. Building on these insights, we are developing our SG Arts Plan 2.0 to set the stage for the next phase of our arts development. First, we will strengthen the role of the arts in the wider local and global creative economy. Second, we will develop further ways for the arts to contribute to deepening our national identity, social cohesion, and inclusivity. Third, make the arts a distinctive factor that adds to Singapore's attractiveness as a global city. NAC welcomes feedback and ideas from the sector to refine our SG Arts Plan 2.0. A public consultation will be conducted in the second part of this year. Let me now turn to our SG Heritage Plan, which has since 2018 enabled Singaporeans to rediscover and affirm our shared values and identity through diverse offerings and multiple touchpoints. Our museums are now more accessible through digital initiatives and offerings that reach out to larger audience. Seniors can now enjoy age-friendly programs under the Silver Hubs initiative, while programs under the Heritage Cares also reach out to low-income families, persons with disability, children with special needs, as well as youth at risk. Heritage is being infused into everyday spaces around us through the Street Corner Heritage Gallery scheme, our Tampines Gallery, Krita Aya Heritage Gallery, and Geylang Serai Heritage Gallery have all enlivened local communities. Following NHB's consultations with a diverse range of stakeholders that include insights from our museum community, youth, creatives, heritage societies, and heritage business owners, NHB is drawing up plans for our SG Heritage Plan 2.0. Firstly, we will support the heritage sector's digital adoption and develop capabilities to transform their operations and efforts in connecting Singaporeans to our heritage. Second, we will also showcase Singapore's rich multicultural heritage beyond our shores to grow new audiences and markets for our heritage sector, while at the same time learning from the best in the world to develop our home talents. Thirdly, we will work closely with our local communities as well as heritage enthusiasts and partners in the tech and creative industry to celebrate our unique local histories. We invite all Singaporeans to share your views and feedback for our SG Heritage Plan 2.0 when NHB launches the public call in the middle of this year. Madam Chair, in Mandarin, please. 拓展具有本地特色的艺术和文化遗产领域，有助于提升新加坡作为国际大都会的活力和魅力。而能够让人产生共鸣的艺术作品以及文化的遗产， 更会无形中的加深我们国人对国家的认同，有助于建立更有凝聚力、更有包容性的新加坡。文社青部未来将通过延续我们的新加坡艺术拓展蓝图以及新加坡文化遗产计划，达到以上的目标。2018年推出的新加坡艺术拓展蓝图，通过具有代表性的平台，展现我们新加坡多姿多彩的艺术风貌，并和我们的艺术界同仁以及社区伙伴们，一同将文化艺术活动带到我国20多个地点，加强了我们的社区的参与，包括学前与特需儿童，以及我们乐龄长辈们，确保我国的艺术领域更具包容性，让更多人受惠。另一方面，新加坡文化遗产计划自2018年推出以来，让国人重新的发现并肯定我们共同拥有的文化遗产。我们更多国家古迹的保留以及小贩文化的申遗成功，也让更多新加坡人意识到了文化遗产在日常生活的重大价值。接下来，国家艺术理事会和国家文物局将会继续开展咨询，和文化艺术以及遗产保护界同仁进行深度的对话，并希望连同各行各业的国人，共同拟定下一个新加坡艺术拓展蓝图与我们的文化遗产计划，为创意经济以及传承新加坡的多元文化尽一份力。Madam Chair, MCCY and our agencies remain committed to working with the arts and culture community to revitalize our arts and culture sector and chart its future directions. As we build on the gains that we have made together over the past 2 years, we will carve an exciting journey ahead towards a thriving and sustainable arts and culture ecosystem, one that enriches livelihood, one that unites our people, and one that enlivens our city. Thank you.
Order. I propose to take a break now. Order. I suspend the sitting and will take the chair at Order. I suspend the sitting and will take the chair at 5:45 p.m. Order, order.